Getting ready for tonight's live call-in show in about 10 minutes. We're going to go bananas tonight. It's going to be appealing. We're going to take the calls at the top of the hour. Your best Halloween stories. We're going to put this on the feed on Friday. Mohawk. This is actually a college football tribute costume. I'll explain soon. Jason probably knows. Let's just say pistols firing. Oh, Jason's on a run. This is Vern. I thought both of you guys. He'll know. I got to change that font. I can't read this font. Hang on. That's better. Yes, French Quarter is beautiful at night and in the day. All the time. This costume was not made to have glasses and big old headphones under it. Oh, it's not a big deal. The Spider is co-hosting with me tonight.
Just gotta make sure this is ready, okay?
This is actually one of Paige's old cross-country costumes with the hot dog. She had both. Scotty G is headed out to dinner with Liz, he just said. I just texted him. It's just going to be us. But I did send him the link in case he wants to call in. Ooh, I'm going to turn this guy on. Watch this. Oh, the Hatbox Ghost. I got him on the treasure. I wonder if you can do that without the sound. We'll just have the sound. It's ambiance. Can you guys hear it? It goes, whoa, ha, ha, ha. If it gets too annoying, just tell me. I'll turn it off. So what time is it? We have 7 minutes. We'll start the show in 7. So hang out. Let everybody know we're live. We need calls tonight. We need calls. But once we get to the top of the hour. It is so cold here today. It's raw. It's 52 and just windy as anything and cold. And we have our first playoff game, probably our last playoff game. Hopefully not. Playoff game tomorrow night. Francis Hall against Troy on the road. Got a bad seed, tough opponent, but we'll see what happens. If we get past that one, the next 2 weeks will be easier than this first game. This game will be harder than the next 2 rounds. Five minutes to go. 5 minutes. Spread the word. We've got a banana DJing. Got a banana podcasting. Should be illegal. Let's turn the sounds off of the Discord. We go there. Alrighty. Ooh, pizza. I just had my fajitas. LS Teca. All right, for real, I'm turning that thing off. It's driving me crazy. I had to work without the sound. I don't know what I did, but it works. No sound. Hey, trunk or treats. We always had those at our church. We always did a Disney trunk. It was always fun. Loved those. Hey, Jennifer. Shout out to Len. Just got his email about a show topic. We'll be tackling one of those. I have zero peripheral vision in here right now, so if anybody sneaks up on me in the studio, I'm in trouble. Can't even see the soundboard. I'm gonna be so hot by the top of the hour. Hello to Brandon, New Hampshire in the house. I don't know what episode this is. Who cares? Wait, I can figure it out. Maybe. 2787 is today. 2789. You just never know. All right, Matt. Yes, calls would be great. I have a couple stories to share, then we'll take some calls and have some fun. 2 minutes. So exciting. So exciting. This will be Friday's podcast, by the way. Throwing it out on the feed for Halloween Day just to switch it up a little bit. Oh, I can't see. I am watching the match game here in the studio on Buzzer. That's scary. Hey, Mel down in Australia in the house. My good friend Mel. So good to see you. Yes, you're waking up to a banana on your feed. Shocking, I know. What's wrong with the internet? Mallory's got her showcase tonight for state. We have state cheerleading on Saturday. So today's the run through for the parents. But I'd already scheduled this, so here we are. We're going to have a good time, though. Bam's there. It's almost time. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. And close. We're almost there. Close this window here. Let me do this. And it's time to start the show rolling. Let's have a podcast. I think we're good. All right, let's do a podcast for Halloween. Yeah, the day after, okay, Jason, this is a college football tribute costume. You will get it. What school does this relate to? You got to think about it. Okay, here we go. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the VOGP Open Line Halloween special for Wednesday night, October 29th, 2025. I'm your host, Banana Mike Rallman, one of the great agents over at the Magic for Less. We're one of the more appealing travel agencies out there for your slippery Disney vacations. That's right. We want to take good care of you. So come on over when you want to go on the next trip, themagicforless.com. But we're here. We're going to be having a little fun today. This is a special show for the feed, Halloween Day. If you're checking it out on the feed, happy Halloween to you. Happy Friday. We're going to mix it up today. It's going to be more like a Mike in the Midwest episode more than a Be Our Guest podcast episode, because we're going to step outside of Disney, maybe talk about some Disney talk here. You never know. But we're going to have an open line for the next hour at 407-584-7173, 407-584-7173. Just telling stories about Halloween from our corner of the world, from our childhoods, stories about our favorite Halloween costume from when we were kids. What was it like trick-or-treating in your neck of the woods where you grew up? Did you have Halloween parties at your school? Were you allowed to have them back in the day? How did you celebrate those? What have you? What were some of your Halloween traditions? What was your favorite Halloween candy? Maybe that's not around anymore. I used to love whatchamacallits. I think they're still around, but I'm not positive. But man, whatchamacallits, when they first came out at the skating rink where I grew up, because my next door neighbors owned the skating rink, so I literally lived there. Whatchamacallits. First time it came out, like, oh, and I just destroyed those things in my childhood. So I wish I could have one of those today. We could talk about your favorite candies, favorite memories of childhood, favorite costumes, all those stories. I will lead off with a couple. I got to give you a couple to get everybody in the mood. It's Halloween. Got to tell you some of my fun memories real quick. So it's kind of like a Mike in the Midwest. So if you've ever wanted to know what Mike in the Midwest is kind of like, it's always me telling stories of just growing up and things I've done in the past. This is it. It's nothing major. You're not missing out on a whole lot if you don't subscribe to Mike in the Midwest, but you get bizarre stories like these. All right. So as you know, I just mentioned that my next door neighbors own the skating rink in our town, and the So the lady next door was my babysitter all growing up when I was a young kid. My sister and I, we were babysat by the lady whose husband owned the skating rink. So we would be at the skating rink all day. She'd do the paperwork at the skating rink while it was closed. We would be able to roller skate on the skating rink while it was closed all day. We just have run of the place. She'd give us quarters. We play the video games, bubble hockey, whatever. So we were always there. Well, when I was 14, I started working at the skating rink. So I started working there before, typically most kids have jobs. I started working there, at 14 because I've grown up there, DJing, playing the music, floor garden, stuff like that. I just kind of managed it through high school, college, stuff like that. So the goal was always obviously to make as much money as you could. And the way to do that was to have like specials for the holidays, President's Day, get kids there when school's out. So Halloween was always a big deal at a skating rink, right? You wanted to pack the place. And so we would always have a big Halloween skate. And we had a couple other managers there and we were nuts. Like we would come up, we'd always try to be super creative in how we would get the kids there and make it fun and how we could like generate extra revenue. Sometimes we do stuff for charities and like have like a fishbowl. We could like, if we did something extra, we could throw money in there, give it to the firefighters or some charity. We did that a lot because, it was just something like going into Thanksgiving, we could give some money. I like to do that kind of stuff. So one year, I can't remember who built this for us. We got the idea that we wanted to get a coffin. Now, okay, so we have this big skating rink, right? And I said, it'd be cool if we had a coffin for a decoration. But we weren't going to go like to a funeral home and get a real coffin. But this other lady that worked there, she was a little bit older than me, but her husband was real crafty. He was like a carpenter. And I said, what if I just give you the money, from the skating rink fund to go buy the wood at Home Depot, and he can buy the plywood. He can, cut it to make it look like a coffin, with that coffin shape, and spray paint it black. I said, it doesn't have to be super nice. Like it's just for a skating rink. We're not going to bury anybody in it. Just some plywood, spray paint it black. It's only got to survive like a couple days. We'll probably use it on Friday night. We'll probably use it on the matinees on Saturday and Sunday. And then we'll, maybe we'll chuck it. Maybe we keep it in the back storage for the next year. But if it doesn't make it to the next year, who cares? We'll get our money's worth out of it for 1 year. She's like, I love this idea. So, a couple weeks ahead of time, give her the money. She said she goes out and she lives out in the country. She goes to Lowe's or Home Depot in her pickup, little Toyota mini pickup truck, buys all the stuff. Her husband builds it. She rolls in with this coffin in the back of her little silver mini Toyota pickup. And she lived like 45 minutes from our skating rink. I mean, she had to haul this thing. People were probably looking at her all the way in, like 45 minutes from our skating race. She had a looked like a coffin, a black coffin in the back of her pickup truck. So how she didn't get pulled over by the cops, I don't know, but she got this coffin to our skating rink. Okay. That was a miracle number one. Now, the other thing was I said, okay, here's the deal. Now, what are we going to do with the coffin, right? I said, it'd be cool to have a coffin on a Friday night skate. So we had these skates on, our skates were 7 to 11 every Friday night. I said the kids would love a coffin because like mostly we had like probably 5th graders to 8th graders that came on Friday nights. I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do 2 things with the coffin. One, it's a photo op, right? We're going to have it stand up in the corner. We'll have like some skeletons and bats and stuff and cobwebs, and we'll take pictures for $1 and kids can get their picture in front of the coffin. It'll be cool. Back then, again, this was a long time ago. We did like Polaroids, like the instant cameras. Where you'd pop out and you'd sell them for $1. So we did that for $1. But then I got the idea though. I said, you know what? Here's the other thing. So we did one of the things that we did, not all the sessions, but some sessions, like we made it special. We do them like once a month or something. We had scooter races. Now, I don't know if you remember from PE class when you were a kid, but do you remember those like little square? There were squares. Scooters that were on like caster wheels that would go in all directions, had those little bitty caster wheels. So I got the brilliant idea that what we were going to do was for $1, and we were going to give this money to charity. We put this in a fishbowl. We were going to give casket rides. So you could take your last ride around the rink. And what we did was like, you would get in the coffin and like lay there And the floor guards would push you around one lap around in the coffin. We put it on two of those scooters. Dude, it was the greatest thing ever. Every kid in the rink was just giving up money. I mean, kids were going for 5 rides, $5. We got so much money for charity. And it was awesome because back then we had just gotten a new like sound. I talked the owner into getting a new sound system. We got this huge fog machine that had pipes that came out at both ends of the skating rink at the same time. And we could just, and I mean, the whole rink would just disappear, just fog with laser lights. And it was amazing. I mean, during those Halloween skates, we just cranked so much fog in there. You couldn't see. Kids were everywhere. Dude, we had people in in a coffin going around the rink with all these, we'd have like 400 people on the floor at one time playing Thriller and all these crazy songs. I mean, it was so much fun. So that was one of my memories from working probably when I was like 17 or 18, just where we came up with a creative idea of how to celebrate a Halloween skate that maybe you've never thought about, like at a venue. We thought it'd be fun. Like, wonder what would happen if we had a coffin. Then I thought, wonder what would happen if we had a coffin on wheels, where we could sell kids rides in a coffin around a skating rink. And it was a blast. I'd love to do it again. I'd love to own a skating rink someday again. So that'd be so much fun. So I'm going to open up the phone lines. Guys have stories about your favorite costume from being a kid, from trick-or-treating, candy, all that stuff. We need to talk for the next hour. Variety is going to be what we're looking for. So let me do a couple things here and click a couple buttons, and we should be good to go. All right, 407-584-7173 is the number. And looks like we are off and rolling. Who's our first call?
Hey, Mike, it's Brandon in New Hampshire. How are you, buddy?
Hey, Brandon. Thanks for calling in, buddy. What's up?
Oh, God, I've got a couple of stories I'll tell you from my childhood for Halloween.
Let's go.
Growing up in a small town of Gilsum, New Hampshire, we had we were a town of 650 people. And our tradition from our local town was trick-or-treating would go on for an hour, hour and a half, and then everybody met at the fire station. And then you'd follow the fire truck from there about an eighth of a mile up the road to the local town hall, which we'd have costume judging, bobbing for apples, which God forbid that would happen after COVID. I mean, am I right?
I know, seriously. Well, I used to show the Charlie Brown Halloween special to my kids every year, right before they left for Halloween, to go home that day. And they would see that bobbing for apples, like where Lucy dunks her head in there. And they'd all be like,
I know.
oh my God, they thought it was the craziest thing ever. I'm like, people used to do that all the time. They're like, no way. I'm like, oh, it was a thing. Like, the kids couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Or donuts on strings or popcorn balls on strings, around the Halloween season. I mean, just think of that nowadays. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah. We did the donuts on strings at a party for Paige. We did that back in the day. All of our friends.
That was a normal thing.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm not too far off of your age. So I'm going to tell you a story from around 1985, 1986. The best Halloween costume I ever had was I grew up with my grandparents in Gilsum, New Hampshire, and her friend Kay was a seamstress. And she came over to the house and had a bunch of old white sheets, wrapped me up like a mummy, head to toe, stark white sheets. I mean, I couldn't see anything. I'm a guy that wears glasses like you. And she told me to go out into the dirt driveway and roll around. And she sprayed me with water bottles and do this over and over again for probably an hour before trick-or-treating. We did the fire station thing, went up to the town hall for costume judging. That was the first time, I think it was 86, that I won. And what I won was one thing that I never could afford as a kid was a super soaker.
Oh, dude, super soakers were I never had one either. But of course, your kids always get the cool stuff. Paige had one because, well, I mean, who played with it probably more than Paige was me. But
yeah, absolutely. It was one of those things where I had a couple of friends that had super soakers, even the backpack ones. I'm like, I couldn't believe the fact that I won the costume thing. Now, this was all free. Again, small town, just put on by the town. We didn't have any local police or anything like that. Like you were saying. But again, a town of 600 people that had maybe 50, 60 kids, age ranging from kindergarten through 4th, 5th grade. It was just one of those moments when I got up on stage and I was just covered with these muddy, dirty sheet slices. I was like, I am the king of the world. And the next year, back to the plastic mask and back to the plastic costume that you got from a Walmart, or in our day it was Kmart and Bradley's, Rich's, the department store costumes. That was just the ultimate year that I have ingrained in my head.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think those costumes came in that box. I think they were called Ben Cooper or something like that. I've researched
with the clear plastic front on them, with the cardboard around the outside.
Yeah, because we had those, man. They would for one, like your face would just sweat to death, and like the mouthpiece would just like cut your lips. It was brutal,
and you couldn't see anything. I mean, especially with somebody that wore glasses, you couldn't see anything.
No, yeah, and like I think I told Pam, or we mentioned on one of the shows, like my mom always gave us those little glow sticks that like would snap and it would turn green and like illuminate a little bit, but you would have thought once she gave you that you were invincible. And it was like
100%.
Maybe it was 3 inches long. You know what I mean? That was going to keep you from getting hit by a car. Looking back, I'm like,
yeah, no car is going to ever touch you because I'm so illuminated that the car is definitely going to see me.
Like, don't forget your glow stick. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's going to save me. Like it was like like a lightsaber. Like Darth Vader carries or something. It was crazy. But man, we had good times.
We always put them on a string around our neck.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah, we did that sometimes. But I usually just. Who knows? It was crazy. We went out and just but we had the best time. We went out because like I've mentioned too, like we would be out there for hours. We would go out and just, till 9. I don't know. It always probably seems later now, but we'd stay out because it seems like everybody's done here, 7:30, 8 o'clock. Nobody's coming around anymore. And,
and they do a lot of trunk or treats around here nowadays too, where you don't even like go to local neighborhoods and stuff. And here's the other thing I wanted to mention. We trick-or-treated with pillowcases.
Same.
I don't know about you. We didn't have trick-or-treating buckets, bags, unless McDonald's came out with the pumpkin, the ghost, and the little Frankenstein one, and you were lucky enough to get one. Yep. We always had pillowcases that we would decorate ourselves.
Well, I have the boo buckets here in the studio because the retro, I had those, but we used pillowcases to be practical because they held more, like, especially as we got a little bit older.
Yeah, you could sling them over your shoulder.
Yeah.
And we did it on BMX bikes a lot of years too, because again, small town.
That's right. Because we didn't want to go back. Those boo buckets were small. Exactly.
Exactly. All right, Mike, I won't keep you, but I'll let you get on to the next call. I just want to throw in my couple of memories of that and represent New Hampshire, which has been shown so much in the Discord, which I absolutely love.
I love it too, Brandon. Thanks for kicking it off, and it's so good to talk to you tonight. Happy Halloween to you.
Yeah, you as well, brother.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. All right, let's get this. Take a survey here. That was a good call. We'll say it's a good call. All right, 407-584-7173. The Halloween special is underway. Yeah, you don't want to go out there with a boo bucket. Come on now. That thing would be full in 5 houses at this point. That'd be crazy. Sorry, 407-584-7173. I was going to ask Brandon what his favorite candy is back then and today. And by the way, Jason got my costume. So the banana, Oklahoma State Cowboys. And you're like, wait. You're wearing a banana suit. What's that have to do with the Oklahoma State Cowboys? Their football team is terrible. Their head coach got fired. They can't hardly win a game this year. But their fans, their like student section is winning the season. They're having so much fun. If you ever watch their games, they've started this like shirt off section where all the guys get up there and take off their shirts and twirl them, and it's awesome. But they also have a section where now they're doing like a banana suit conga line during the games. And so you'll see about 100 guys in banana suits doing the conga around the stadium. So if you ever see a Oklahoma State game, you'll see about 100 dudes in banana suits doing a conga line. It's awesome. So this is a tribute to the Oklahoma State student section. All right, next call. Hey, who's joining us? Oh, hang on. Caller, you there? What do I got here? Caller, you there? Hello? Hello, caller? Yep. Try again. Let's try again on that one. I don't know what happened there. 407-584-7173. Caller, you there? Hello.
Hey, Mike, this is Andrew from Utah.
Hey, Andrew, thanks for calling in, buddy. How are things out west?
That's great.
Sorry about
Good
that.
weather, good
Sorry about last.
good fall weather here.
Sorry about that. Oh, what happened on the first call? But operator error for sure. So glad you called it. Glad you gave us a second chance there.
Oh yeah, no worries.
So what do you guys do out west for Halloween? What are some of your memories?
Hey, so I had just a bit of nostalgia and a quick story I wanted to tell you.
Sure.
So, you grew up in the 70s like myself, and I love hearing all your nostalgia stuff from the 70s, the TV shows and everything. But one thing I always remember growing up in the 70s is the one shot we had to watch the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown show on TV.
Yes.
And it's funny because, nowadays you have, VCR, you have DVD, you have streaming. But back then you had a TV, you had 3 or 4 channels, and that show was on once. And it was an event because you made sure you didn't have anything planned, so you could all sit down and watch that awesome show. And it was always sponsored by Dolly Madison.
Yes, the Zinger Company.
Classic.
Yes. And you know what? You nailed it on the head. But I feel that more for Christmas, and because the thing was, like, you had like basically the big 3. And if you missed them, I remember, because one year I missed one of them and I got like in a funk. I mean, like, as much of a funk as you can get in for like a 7-year-old, right? Because today's kids seriously will not know that pain, because you had to wait till the next year. Like, there was no going to watch, like I said, grabbing a disc or a streamer or something like that, because it was the one I always had. Well, there was like, maybe there's 4. It was Rudolph. I always had to see Rudolph. I had to see Frosty.
Yep.
And I think it was like Santa Claus is coming to town, and of course Charlie Brown. So there's 4. And I think I missed one, but I mean, my mom always made sure that, like, we knew when it was, because we always had the TV guide sitting on the coffee table.
Yep.
And the printed TV guide and so forth that came in the newspaper. And it was a big deal, like you didn't do anything that night. It was like 7:00 on CBS or whatever. And, it was appointment television. And I remember, like, for some reason, something happened. We missed one of them. And it was just like, like, I got in there for like the last 5 minutes, and it was just like, oh, I realized what had happened. And I was just like, no, like, it was like Frosty had just come back to life. And I'm like, oh my, I missed the whole thing. I was like, no, he's back to life. What? I didn't get sold. That was terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, you had one shot. It was hilarious. And we did the same thing. We had, I think that for Christmas, they print all the programs in the newspaper, and we clip out that section of the newspaper, the shows that we, didn't want to miss, and put up on the fridge. And that way, we'd always be able to refer to and go, okay, tomorrow night's Frosty, the next night's Grinch.
Yep.
And we would just plan it all out. It was fun. It was stressful but fun, and it made the actual sitting down and watching it kind of an event.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a tradition, a Christmas tradition.
Yeah, because it made everybody. Because and we always make a point, like, we watched Charlie Brown, Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, a couple weeks ago, because this was before there was football on every night, because we would find a football game no matter what. But right before there was a football game every night, I was like, there's nothing on, Pam. I was like, we're going to watch Charlie Brown, Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. So it was on Apple TV. We pulled it up. We watched it, like I said, like a couple weeks ago, and it was fun to watch it, because we always watch it with our classes when we were both teachers, and we had a good time. But like you say, there's more urgency when it's that one time. It's appointment television. Everybody rallies around it. Yeah, I do miss that, because like back then, you'd have the bowl of popcorn. Everybody would stop what they're doing, because you had to. I prefer that, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I agree.
So did you have any, like, favorite costumes ready? Did you guys do anything in your neighborhood growing up like that?
Yeah, I was going to tell you a quick story. That was really funny. And so I grew up in a small town in Roosevelt in the 70s. And when I was 5 or 6 years old, I was with my older brothers, as opposed to having, my parents take me around. So we went early across the street to a neighbor, hadn't gotten ready the treat yet, so she got this kind of tri-level, and then if you remember, the 3 big candy bars were Milky Way. So she put a bag on the flare, then a bag of Snickers, and a bag of Milky Way. And said, as we were ready to take it, she said, "Okay, one each." So my two little brothers grabbed a candy bar and said thank you and ran out the door to go to the next house. And me thinking one each, I took one each of each kind of candy bar.
Smart.
and I think that she didn't say anything, and I didn't think anything of it. I thought, oh, one each, okay, one each. So I took one each bag, and then we went out and kept going. We went through, went to dozens of houses. And of course, what do you do when you come home? When you're done,
Count it up.
And you count it all up and divide it up and sort it and everything. And didn't understand why the little brother had 2 extra candy bars in his loot. And then they said, wait, did you? And I said, each of each kind. And they're like, no, you're only supposed to take one. And so that's a family memory.
But did they let you? They were the older brothers, though. Did they let you keep the candy bars, or did they bully you away? In the end, did you get to keep those candy bars?
I think they let me keep them.
That's good.
Yep, I
Those
think
good
they let me
brothers.
keep them.
Good stuff. That's good stuff. That's cute. I
Yeah,
love
it was
that.
fun.
That's cute. I love it. That's a good story. That's a good family story. You should buy them each candy bar this Halloween and hand it to them.
Yeah, but anyway, thanks for the trip.
You're breaking up a little bit, Andrew, but I appreciate the call, buddy. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
All right, happy Halloween to you. Thanks for calling in. Bye-bye.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All righty, so let's get, let's see here. Look, they had a little bit of breaking up there, but we got the story. All right, let's get to the next call, and here we go. Andrew's story was awesome. Brothers. All right, we have our next call. Who's this?
Oh, hey, this is Matt from New Jersey, also known as Zeebs.
Hey, Zeebs, what's going on? Happy Halloween to you a couple days early, or if you're listening Friday, happy Halloween today. What's up?
Yeah, hey, happy Halloween. I just left my house. I'm going to meet my wife for dinner, so I have about 15 minutes. I won't take up that much time, but I figured I'd give a call in.
I like it. So real quick though, what are you having for dinner? What's the plan?
It's this chef that's kind of famous in New Jersey. His name is David Burke. He has a restaurant near us, so we don't get many night outs as parents, so this is kind of like a date night for us.
That's scoring. Hey, that's a win right there when you get a date night out at a good restaurant. I like it. Good stuff.
Absolutely.
So okay, lay some honest. What do you got? Let's talk some Halloween stories.
Yeah, I was calling in because I had when I was in like middle school, so 6th, 7th, 8th grade, I just absolutely loved trick-or-treating and Halloween. So like I come from a small town in New Jersey called Greenbrook. And, from where I live, my home to the middle school is it's 2 miles. So after school, I had a lot of my close friends that lived right by the middle school. We would walk to their house, get out around like 3:30, whenever it was. I can't remember. We would go to their house, we would hang out and, be there for a little bit, then start trick-or-treating, say around like 4. We would go around their neighborhood, and then we would literally walk all the way across town, hitting up different neighborhoods. There was this one spot near our elementary school that had a ton of houses right next to each other, so we'd hit those up. Then you cross some baseball fields, and then you go to this other place called the Village, that's where if you want to go trick-or-treating, that was the spot to go to. So it was just, you go to one house after another, super short walk, between each house. And, we would get to my house, around, 8:39. So, I think I heard you talking about like how long, trick-or-treating lasts in your town. Ours lasted, pretty much all night. Like people would go to I shouldn't say all night, maybe like 10 o'clock. Like I would get trick-or-treaters at my house until like 10 o'clock at night. So
as long was the rule for you guys too, like as long as you left the porch light on, like as soon as you turned the porch light off, then it was kind of like, okay, leave us alone. But that was kind of like our etiquette in our neighborhood, I think.
no, that was it too. Like as long as our porch light was on, people would still come to our house. So
yeah, and that's how it was. So now let me ask you this too, because you mentioned like that one neighborhood that you went to, and I joked, I think I talked about to Pam about this on a show a couple of weeks ago. Like we always had Cobblestone Creek where we used to live, where the bigger houses were, and like everybody would go to that, like just that one little it was like a loop. And because it was like a new, like there was a piece of land that they built maybe 30 new houses on after all the existing houses were there for a long time. And these houses were substantially bigger than the rest of our houses where we all lived. And so everybody from, the rest of the area where we lived in, everybody would go to Cobblestone Creek because they were the big houses. And we all thought they gave out the big candy bars, which they did. And so it was so funny because there was 90% of the houses were just like regular size, small houses where we lived. But then everybody would inundate Cobblestone Creek, like these 35, 40 houses on this like circle. And, but it was fun because, it was like everybody would, I don't know if you've like heard about, Celebration. I mean, I've seen, like Len Test has talked about it. I've seen other people online, how it's just unbelievable, the amount of candy they give away. I mean, this would have been like 1% of that, but that's how I perceive it. Like you would see people from streets over like, oh, hey, I haven't seen you since last Halloween, but like everybody's basically raiding Cobblestone Creek and having a good time. Then you would move on to the rest of our, area, but everybody started at Cobblestone Creek. It was so funny.
Yeah. No, I thought the same way as a kid. I was like, oh, the bigger houses must give out more candy. And, in the neighboring town, there were a lot of neighborhoods that had, these big houses, but, the houses were kind of spread apart. They had more, maybe like about an acre of land for, each house. And I remember like one Halloween, one of the parents took us up there upon my request because I thought we'd get bigger candy bars. And I was very disappointed when we had to walk really far in between houses and we weren't getting any big candy bars at all. And I was like, well, this sucks.
Yeah. So, well, that's when you really quickly learn the lesson of return on investment, right?
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So it was much better hitting up the houses that were really close to each other. And you get way more candy.
Oh, that's so funny. So so did you guys do anything in school like back then, or did your schools not allow it? Like we used to do like, we didn't let our kids, well, at the very beginning when I was teaching, we let them dress up, but then after that we weren't allowed to. So what we did was we did a historical person project every year on Halloween. And so that our sixth graders could dress up because, I still believe they were kids, the sixth graders, and it's Halloween, they should dress up. So to get around it, and Pam taught with me, we taught next door to each other. We always did like these living book reports on Halloween. So they got to dress up as the person that they researched or they did a book report on. So they could still dress up. They just couldn't be like a werewolf or something like that. They had to, like, they could be, as long as they read the book about somebody, they could dress up as them on Halloween. And then we did like a book report that day. Like they had to just do like a 2-minute book. So we kind of got around the rule that way. But I mean, what was it like in your neck of the woods?
When so I was in middle school. This was like 2000, 2001, 2002 when I graduated 8th grade. And they did allow us to dress up, no masks or, fake weapons or anything, but they allowed us to dress up. Cause like I said, I would be in my costume on Halloween and I would just walk from middle school, and be out all night in my costume. So we always wore our costumes to school. They didn't have any, from what I remember, they didn't have any parades. Not parades. That was much when we were much younger. I had a Halloween parade for my kids this morning who are 4 and 2. So I have Halloween parade in my mind.
But that's so cool. I love that idea. I'm glad the little kids still get to do that. That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. My daughters were dressed up as Jasmine and Elsa. So those are the favorite princesses right now.
Nice.
But yeah, we didn't have any parties from what I remember. No. So
yeah, it's a shame. I mean, because that stuff's, and the problem is, I mean, obviously, a few kids take it too far and then, kind of ruin it for everybody. But I look back, again, was talking, Brandon and Andrew were talking, I grew up in the 70s, and there's this one snapshot of me in kindergarten. And I mean, every kid sitting in that classroom, my mom must have been like the room mom or something that day for Halloween, because we're having a party and I'm dressed up like Kiss, like a Kiss singer with the star on my eye. Like, she painted my face. I didn't have on a mask. She painted my face with the star and like the black. I looked exactly like that Kiss singer, but I had on the smock, like the plastic smock from those 70s costumes that were real cheap, but I had the face painted. But I mean, every kid in that class had like a werewolf or a Spider-Man. I mean, like everybody had like a mask, or like, I mean, every kid was like covered head to toe. But I mean, it was like, it looked like the coolest party ever for kindergartners, but you couldn't do that nowadays. You'd have to be, if you're going to wear a costume, maybe more light costume, I guess.
No, yeah. I don't, it's hard to remember, what the rules and stuff were back in the day. I have no idea what they are now. I was, the last thing I'll mention, then I'll let someone else hop on here. But I remember just going to the, Party City. I don't know if you had those in the Midwest, but Party City is where everyone got. Did you have them?
Yeah, we had them.
Okay. Yeah. So that's where everyone went to go get their costumes. And I remember just going every year and like I couldn't pick anything that I wanted. So, one of your questions I think I saw for the show was, what was your favorite Halloween costume? I would have to say mine is Ghostface from the movie Scream, because I must have been him at least 3 or 4 times when I was a kid, just because I just loved that costume. And my parents, for whatever reason, never saved the one from the year before, so they had to keep buying a new one for me. But for whatever reason, I just kept going back to that. So
very popular at the skating rink where I worked at that, because that was at the time when I was working there. That thing was everywhere. Every kid, every other kid came in that costume. So I'll give you that. Okay, real quick, but before I cut you loose, Zeebs, favorite candy from when you were a kid, favorite candy now. What are you going with?
Oh man, that's a great question. So favorite candy from a kid, I loved Milk Duds. Milk Duds were like my jam. I still love them today, but they're not my favorite candy. My favorite are just your standard peanut M&Ms. I love those. Like anytime I go to the movies, I always have to get my peanut M&Ms. So those are my jam.
Oh my gosh, I could go. Those snack size, dude, they're just dangerous because you eat 3 of them. It's just
I know. Tell me about it.
In the snack size, they give you like 6 nowadays. There's hardly any in there. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not much. Yeah, I'm too used. I go to the movies pretty often, and I'm too used to the bag that has like 3 or 4 servings in it, and I should not be eating the whole bag.
For real. But I know it's not good, but got to enjoy life. All right, Zeebs. Well, hey, have a great dinner with your wife. Enjoy date night, man. You don't get it often.
Yeah, will do. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it, and we'll chat soon.
All right, take care, buddy. I'll see you.
All right, bye.
All right, bye. All right, 407-584-7173 is the number. Telling Halloween stories today for our Halloween special, which is going to air on Halloween Day. If you're listening on Halloween Day, happy Halloween to you. Yes, you can go back to YouTube and check it out. I'm podcasting in a banana suit. That's right. So just go to youtube.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. All the shows are there. All right. Next call coming in. Here we go. Hey, who's joining us? Next caller.
Hey, Mike. It's Jen in Maryland.
Jen, what's going on? Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Yeah. Well, I'm still getting prepped for Halloween. I got a pumpkin to carve tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. Be careful with the knife.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I lived in Sudbury, Massachusetts. And if you know your American history, that's out by Concord and Battle of Lexington and all that good stuff. But it was somewhat rural. We didn't have a lot of houses on our street. So we would go out and we'd be out all night because we had to go a great distance in order to hit enough houses. Although, honestly, I don't remember my parents ever going with us.
Isn't it a miracle we're all still alive? I mean,
I'm telling you,
we wouldn't let our kids 5 minutes or 10 feet away from us at this point of life. But yeah, my parents didn't go with us. Like, and I don't remember any adults. Like, no parents, I don't think, went with us. It was just It was just safety in a herd or something, I guess. I
Exactly,
don't know.
exactly. All of our friends would meet up and we would just go house to house. But one thing that we did in Sudbury, and I don't know if other places did this, but at school before Halloween, they would give out little boxes and we would go trick or treating for UNICEF.
We did
Does
not
that sound
do that.
familiar?
No, we did
No?
not do anything like that. But okay, I love this idea though. So tell us about this more. That's a great idea.
Yeah, well, they're these little boxes about the size of a, little, like the little pint of milk that you would get with your lunch. They're about that size.
Mhm.
And you'd get them at school, and everybody had them, and everybody in town knew that everyone was trick or treating for UNICEF, and so you would not only get a little, piece of candy, but you'd also get a couple of pennies would be put into this little box, and then you'd return it to school, and they would send it off to UNICEF, and so it was helping kids, via the UN. So it was a great charity program that they were doing.
That sounds very similar to something that we did here, and it's super popular when Pam and I taught. We did it every year with our school, but it was called Penny for Your Heart, and we did it at Valentine's Day. It was a fundraiser like that, and we went around and picked up pennies and stuff like that, and they had like class drives, whichever class brought in the most money total. But I mean, it was called Penny for Your Heart, and we give like a pizza party, but we did, jump rope contests, and we had all kinds of stuff. We do it for 2 weeks leading up to Valentine's Day. But it was very similar kind of idea though. That's interesting. You did it at Halloween. I like that idea though. So you'd have a little physical box and collect change as you went around. That's a great idea. I love this. I never heard of that. That's so cool.
Yeah, and they did this year after year after year. So all the adults who were giving out candy knew that they also had to have a bowl full of pennies.
Nice.
To be able to hand out. And and if somebody gave you a nickel, wow, they were real generous.
That'd have been Cobblestone Creek where I lived. And by the way, June, who's tuned in on Facebook, says her school did the UNICEF boxes for pennies too. So I see that. This is why podcasting to me, and again, I started this back in 2008, and it still blows my mind. You can talk to anybody in the world doing a podcast, and you learn about folks. Like I had no idea about this, and then people making connections. Coolest thing ever. I still, this is my favorite thing ever. Just doing a podcast. I love it. Anyway, go ahead. These stories are great.
No, you were talking about the costumes with the masks. I remember having and they're cheap, flimsy, printed material. I was a princess, not one of a Disney princesses, just a pink dress and one of those masks that with the elastic band around your head and a little hole cut out for your eyes. I hated those masks.
Oh yeah. I mean, they had to have been a profit center for those companies because they probably made them for 72 cents a box and sold them for $5 or something. But those things. But I mean, as a kid, I couldn't wait to wear the thing. It was like I just remember like it was sitting in my mom's closet or something, and you can't wear it till Halloween night. I know why she said it now, because it was so flimsy. It would, it lasted probably all of 2 hours, but as soon as I put it on, I perceived myself to look like the Incredible Hulk as soon as I put it on, like I was buff and everything. No, because the mask was just suffocating and cutting my lips, and, I couldn't see. And then the smock, if you remember, like the smocks you would put on, it didn't look like if you were the Incredible Hulk or Spider-Man, it didn't look like Spider-Man or the Incredible Hulk on the smock. What it was just like a picture of who it was. It'd be just like a picture of the Incredible Hulk. Like it was the dumbest thing ever, but I guess you were 7 and you were dumb. You didn't know. Like
you were happy. Yeah, you were happy.
That's greatest though. We didn't care.
And one of the things I love now about giving, because Halloween is one of my favorite holidays, and I would decorate. I used to decorate, big time. Not so much anymore. They'll be lucky that I have a pumpkin this year, but but I love seeing what the kids wear when they come to the door, because I have seen so many good and cute costumes. And until you get to the older kids that are just out there for candy, they're there's like high school kids, and they just come up with a pillowcase and just say, "Give me candy."
Yes, but you know what? Here's the thing, though. Plus this year I was worried we weren't going to get to give out candy because high school playoffs are usually on Friday nights, and Halloween's on a Friday night this year. So I was like, oh man, we're going to miss out. They moved off our football games to Thursday night this year. So we get to do Thursday night for the playoffs. So we do get to give out candy tonight this is coming out on the feed. So I'm excited for that. But here's the thing. Pam and I, we sit up, we have a little covered front porch, a small thing. People come around, we give our candy. But this is how you know you're getting a little bit older. Like there's costumes that as they walk away, we're like, don't know who that was. Like when we used to teach, like we knew everybody, right? Because we were more like, in the game, because like we were like around kids all the time. Like we knew every costume. Now it's like, do you know who that was? Like, not a clue,
Exactly.
I know most of them. Like,
aren't you
I know
cute?
most.
Or look at you.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
just make a comment and give them the candy and send them on their way.
I'm always like, yeah, it's so cute. And then, they walk away like, Pam, who was that? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, oh, good. Wasn't just me. Okay, good. All right.
We don't get as many kids as we used to. When my kids were here trick-or-treating, and we were one of the neighborhoods where people would bring in the van load and like a clown car.
Yes.
Kid after kid would hop out. But it's not that way anymore. When my kids were trick-or-treating, we would have like 100 kids. I kept count. We would have over 100 kids come to the house. And now, now I have grandchildren, so everybody's grown up and moved out. And last year we had 23 kids. That was it. So
it's sad.
So I don't have to put the effort into decorating like I used to.
Yeah, but it is kind of sad because I do love. I mean, I love the holidays. Like I just like celebrating them all. Like people say, get rid of daylight savings time and all that. I'm one that says don't, because I enjoy just to have something to not to look forward to, but just the time changes. It's something different. Like it's not really something to look forward to. Light or darker, you get an extra hour sleep, you lose that. It's something different in that weekend. But anyway, yeah. What I've noticed though is that like in our neighborhood, they come more in herds. Like you'll get like everybody travels in packs. I mean, you'll get a group of like 22 kids at once hit your house. And like then you'll have 10 minutes of downtime, and then here comes another group of 17. Everybody, you don't have the lone wolf ever. I guess that's safe. I don't know. It's probably good, but like we get a lot of packs, and you just get overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, there's Jesse. Because one time we had a whole group of like, they might've been high school kids. They were all in Disney costumes. I mean, and I think they were all Toy Story. It was like Jesse, Woody, Bullseye, Rex,
cool.
Slinky Dog. I mean, they were awesome because they were high school kids. So I told them, I was like, look, I'm a Disney dude. I'm like, I do a Disney podcast. I'm like, can I take your picture? I was like, your costumes are awesome. I was like, and I love that you're out here doing this. And they're like, oh yeah. So they all posed and they liked it. And I was like, this is the best. I was like, because you know what? Like kids like that, they were out there and they looked like they were like theater type, like they were, because I mean, they had like really put time into their costumes. They weren't just out there causing trouble. Like they were having a good time. Like they had thought it through, and they were just like having the best Halloween. And I said, you know what? I appreciate y'all. Like you guys put time into your costumes. You're polite. You're having a good time. Can I just pose for me? And then they did like the best pose. I'm like, you guys and I gave them so much candy. I'm like, you guys just have a blast. Like, keep it up, man. This is the good stuff. It was awesome to see that, like they had a theme. It was so cool.
That's great. That's great. We don't get that around here.
Well, it was surprising. It was a one-time thing. I mean, maybe they'll come around Friday night. Who knows? That'd be cool.
All right. Well, it's been great talking to you, Mike.
All right, hey,
Happy Halloween.
Yeah, same to you. And tell Len I said hello.
Sure. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. I think we have time for a couple more here at 405-847-173. Let's see here. This is fun here from. I forgot to ask Jen though. Up in the Northeast, woo, that might be a little scary there. I think I got one. Hang on. Let's see here. This might still be Jen. Let me look. Caller, you there? Oop, I think it's still Jen. There we go. And all right, 475-847-173. 475-847-173. Give me a call and let's talk Halloween. Yeah. What I meant, yeah, exactly. Vern's kind of talking about that in the chat. Like their costumes were so good and they were like acting the part. Like how they interacted with each other and how they talked and stuff. It was just too good. Like I was like, it was like Toy Story coming to life in my front yard. I was like, I told Pam, I was like, what's going on? And so I said, I got to get a picture. I was like, can I get a picture? Like I'm a Disney travel agent and you guys are the bomb. So that was too cool. All right, we have our next call. Hey, who's this?
Hey, Mike. This is June in Charlotte, North Carolina.
You said, is this June? Sorry, cut out.
Yes.
Oh, June.
Yes.
Hey, sorry. Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry, cut out a little bit. I have a banana on top of my head, so it's a little hard to hear, but I'm here. So share some Halloween magic with us today.
Yeah, so I just wanted to warn you, since you said that you don't often know what people are dressed up like anymore, to be careful about guessing.
No, I don't. No, I've learned that. I don't. That's why I always tell Pam, like, do you know? I'm like, no. I'm like, oh, that's just a cute costume. Thank you.
Because this happened to me last Halloween. This adorable father and child came up, and the child was like not even walking, like a baby, and he was dressed as a minion. And the father was carrying him. He was so cute. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so cute. He's a minion and you're Groot. And the dad goes, I'm not in costume.
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, but you kind of look like Groot.
Right.
I'm going in now to refill my candy bowl. I'm out of Snickers. I gotta go. That's a Snickers commercial right there. Whatever, like, need a Snickers? Yes.
Yes, you just don't say anything.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun. No, that's too funny though. I'm like, you should have told him. Yes, you are. You are Groot. I love it. So when you grew up, like, what did you guys go trick or treating? Like, stay out late? What was your favorite costume from when you were a kid? Like, looking back, like if you had one like all-star costume, what was it?
I think my mom used to sew costumes when we were little, so they were awesome. So I think one that I had was a bat. Like she sewed like wings, under my arms, and put my arms out, and had the whole black wings and everything. So that was really cool.
See, you didn't have to have the painful costume out of the box with this cut lips thing and the sweaty face, and you got good stuff.
Typically not. I was pretty lucky, and I was the youngest of 5 siblings. So later, I just like had hand-me-down costumes, but they were typically ones that she had made when they were younger.
That's what I'm wearing here. This is Paige's cross-country costume from when she was in high school, and she's 28 now. So I just go into the box in the storage room and just dig through there. That's where the hot dog came from. I went in there one time. There was a hot dog, and I've been running in that one for the last like 5 years, and there was a banana.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just it's fun what you can find in the storage closet.
Yeah, your banana costume would have gone with the minion theme too. Like they like bananas.
See, I've never seen that. I don't know what's going on there. Again,
no. Well, it's not Disney.
Yeah, I know. Well, I just know they go near, and it's annoying as anything. So, but I mean, trust me, my wife says I'm annoying, and a lot of people think I'm annoying. So to probably fit the theme, I can tell you. So let me ask you this: what was your favorite candy as a kid, and what's your favorite candy now?
Yes, my favorite candy now, you mentioned the other day, and that's the 100 grand bars. Like, I love those. And I love when I think
I think they're good because they're kind of rare, right? They're not just like a Hershey's or like a Twix or a Reese's. Like, you don't see them in the wild as often as you see other things.
Yeah, exactly. As a kid, I think it was probably like Reese's peanut butter cups, I'm guessing. And Snickers. I liked Snickers, but yeah, I really like 100 grand though. They're really cool.
I have a theory on Reese's. See if you follow me on this. I don't know if you will or not, but I have a theory. So I think the mini Reese's cups that come in the gold foil taste superior to any other Reese's peanut butter cup. They just like the ratio is perfect in that size in the gold foil. I think those are undefeated. I mean, they're all good. I love Reese's peanut butter cups, like the full size, everything. But I think the ones in the gold foil, the miniature ones, so good. I mean, I could eat a whole bag of those if I'm not careful.
Since you love those, do you happen to have a Trader Joe's near you? Are they out there?
I think so. I've never been to one, but Mallory was talking about. Mallory, I think, was talking about going to one at Columbia where Mizzou is.
Okay, so the dark chocolate peanut butter cups that they sell. They're miniature, just like the ones that you love of the Reese's, but they're dark chocolate, and they come in like a plastic container, like with a lid, like a big container full of all these little unwrapped dark chocolate peanut butter cups. They are so addictive. Everybody I know like loves them, and they're not like I probably prefer milk chocolate because it's sweeter, but these are like the perfect bite if you just need something to satisfy you. And I think because they're dark chocolate, like it's kind of it's more satisfying in some ways, like not so, it's a little bit savory, not so sweet, but they are ridiculously good. I think you would love them. If you don't have a Trader Joe's near you, I'll ship you a container because I am so confident you will love them.
So you're telling me to put these in my house on purpose. This sounds like a terrible idea. But okay, so no, funny enough, we're going to be going to Columbia for the next 3 weekends. Mallory, which daughter? Mallory has Cheer State this weekend. It's Saturday in Columbia, so we'll be out there. And then Mizzou's got home games the next 2 Saturdays, so we will be in Columbia. I think it's where Trader Joe's is, so we'll have to check that out while we're out there because I think that's where it is. And we'll have some time to kill. So oh my god!
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, we'll have extra Halloween candy. Then I'll have that June. You know how many miles I run already on the treadmill? You're trying to wipe me out. Oh. Because and you know what? That's like Christmas cookies too. I can't have stuff like that where they're miniature and like it has a lid on it, just like where you can open it and close it because
they're not even wrapped. Like you just like pop them in your mouth.
It's like I always say it's like a tax. Like if I pass through the kitchen, I got to pay the tax. It's like 1 cup. Like it's like we with Riley, our golden doodle, Paige's dog now, but I've confiscated her. Like every time I make a sandwich, we have to pay the turkey tax. Like she has to have 1 slice of turkey because she is, that she's the tax collector, so she gets a piece of turkey. So yeah, every time I pass through the kitchen, I'll have to get a peanut butter cup tax. Oh, it's so good. I can already see. I love
that Riley was your daughter's dog because I love this. There was a quote that I saw one time that I absolutely love. It said, "There's no greater love than between a dog and the grumpy man who didn't want it."
Oh. That dog, this is the furthest we're ever apart is when I'm doing a podcast because I close the door because I don't want her barking. I'm more polite to all of our listeners than Ricky. Let me just put that down for everybody. Ricky lets her dog sit in her lap, even though I tell her, Ricky, put the dog somewhere where we can't hear it bark when somebody comes to your door or somebody runs by the window. No, I apologize. Well, Ricky's not here right now. I apologize to every one of our listeners when that dog barks because I tell her all the time. But because I love you guys, I close the door and Riley, honest to God, you guys are not believing me right now, but I'll tell you this. Riley sits dead on the other side of the door here in the studio and listens the whole time I do this podcast. And as soon as I finish, I open the door and she walks right in. She sits right on the opposite side of this door. But that's the furthest we're ever apart. I do love that dog. Like, because I mean, Paige is was super tight with that dog because like she was with her all the time. She worked at Mizzou, but when she got the job in Chicago, it was just kind of untenable to live downtown and have a dog. So it's the best thing, what I see it as. It's getting deeper. This is Halloween, but I miss my daughter, but at least I have her dog.
Well, does Riley have a costume for Halloween this year?
Well, she has a Mizzou jersey, and so we throw that on her usually for Halloween. So, and it's scary because it was one of our bad quarterbacks from about 5 years ago. So that's how we look at it, Matty Mock. So he did some bad things.
Oh no.
That's what we do. We throw the bad quarterback jersey on her and call it a day.
Well, I'm sure all the Mizzou fans around there get a chuckle and creates a conversation about about that player.
They 100% know. Yeah, it's fun. She's comfortable in it. She doesn't put up too much of a fuss. So we have fun with her that way. She can relax in that one without. Because when Paige comes home for Christmas, she puts like the antlers on her and stuff like that. She hates that. So that's how I stay in Riley's good graces. I don't put all that stuff on her. Like Paige comes home for, 6 days while she has a break from basketball and she's putting antlers on her and sweaters with bells hanging on her and all. That's why she likes me better because we're chill. Like I just chill with her. We take naps. We eat turkey. And Paige comes
You
home
got
and
the same
terrorizes her.
lifestyle.
Exactly.
The same priorities.
Yeah, we dress like defensive coordinators, both of us. We don't have to do all that stuff. We're good.
That's awesome.
Well, I appreciate your call, June. You made me laugh, and
Yeah.
this is what this is all about. It's so much fun. I'm so glad we're friends.
Yeah, me too. Have a great night.
All right, happy Halloween to you. Take care. All right. So you know what? That is gonna about do it. Top of the hour, but a little bit different here on a Friday. Happy Halloween to you. Just thought we'd open up the phone lines because this show is always about all of us. And that way we can get some more voices in here, just mixing it up on a Friday. We've done over 2,800 shows, and hope you'd give us a little grace to switch it up. Not a little Disney talk on a Friday, but switching it up. We'll have Disney talk on Monday because we'll have actually Monday's another listener question show. Pam and I did. And then listener questions again coming Wednesday. So if you have listener questions that you want to get on Wednesday's show, email those to mike@beourguestpodcast.com and you'll be on that show because the queue, we wiped it out over the past couple of episodes. So if you have a question, mike@beourguestpodcast.com. All right. Hope you enjoyed today's show. We'll have another live call-in show this Sunday night. Regular one. We're talking Disney. Scotty G is back. He's going to talk about his Wine and Dine half marathon adventures down there. He was down there with Vern and Jason and everybody. I mean, he got to hang out with everybody. So he'll tell the stories of the 5K, the 10K, the half, the party, the after party, all the good. He did the Sangria University, all that stuff. But you call in, we could talk. You could pick his brain about all those experiences. We'll have a good time on Sunday night. So join us for that, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. I will not be wearing a banana costume. We'll just do it regular. Let's see what else. Don't forget the show is always brought to you by the Magic for Less. You know that. They're our agency that keeps us on the air. We'll plan your next vacation. No additional cost to you. Absolutely free to use. So check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. If you can, anytime you shop online, click through our Amazon affiliate link. It just takes you right back to Amazon, but it supports our show when you buy anything on Amazon. Just click through beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And if you can, become a patron of the show. It's $5 a month. It's like a cup of coffee for the whole month. And for that support, you get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. And it really does help support our show, keeps us on the air. So that's over at patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Shows kind of like today's. It's just talking about memories and nostalgia, stuff like that. Let's see. You can follow me on the social media at beourguestmike, mostly on Instagram. Also x.com for a lot of sports talk over there, Disney talk as well, and Threads. You can also join us in the clubhouse. That's where we have the most fun. There's like 1,600 of us talking Disney, talking sports, talking life. It's absolutely free. Just go to this website. You get your free invitation right now. beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. That invitation is waiting for you right now. All right. Time to jump out of here and go get the candy because it is Halloween time. So until we get back together again for Ricky, Pam, and Scott in spirit, I'm Mike here in Missouri. You guys have a great day, great night, and happy Halloween. Stay safe, stay healthy, and boo to you. Yay, you subscribed. That's what we need. I'm sorry you missed it, but you get to hear it on Friday. That's the good news. It'll be a new show on Friday because it's going to be on the feed on Friday, Kathy. But I'm glad you subscribed. Thank you for doing that. All right. I'm going to edit this thing up and put it up on the feed for Friday. We got a live show coming. Let's see. What's today? Wednesday. So you'll get the Sunday night call-in show here in an hour. All right. I got to take the suit off. I am sweating. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for the great calls. Bye.